we're going to be talking with Barbara Kauke and Gladys Baker about the upcoming year programs of the Great Decision Group. So I know they have a huge presentation to tell us and give us more information about it, so I'm just going to hand it over to Barbara. So Barbara, why don't you tell us a little bit about 2019's Great Decision programs?
Thank you very much, Avan. Well, since 2016, Gladys Baker and I have been co-leaders of the Great Decisions program here at Green Spring. She's been involved with Great Decisions for 15 years, and her contacts with the State Department and the volunteer organizations have been invaluable to us. Dorothy Wheeler is also on the committee and has been on it for 13 years, and she has her wonderful contacts. Don Perkins joined us about 3 years ago, and Bill Kirby last year. And without both, we would still be searching for speakers. It looks like coming from DC area has many advantages for us in running our Great Decisions programs. My husband Ken is also on the committee, and he's my reference source. When I need somebody to look something up on the computer, Ken, please do so. So he does that. Gladys?
And also Ken has magic hands for all of our acoustics.
Gladys, you're going to talk about the Foreign Policy Association. Give us a little history.
Well, yes, 2019 is the 101st anniversary of the Foreign Policy Association. Established in 1918, the Foreign Policy Association is an independent, nonprofit, stimulating wider interest in greater understanding of world affairs. Since 1954, Great Decisions discussion program broadens civic participation in decision-making on U.S. foreign policy through peer-led discussions. Actually, they do an opinion ballot, and they give this information at the end of the year to the various government agencies. FPA, the Foreign Policy Association, takes no position on matters of foreign policy. Rather, the organization seeks to provide objective, nonpartisan information on timely issues through its publication, website, and forums. Here at Green Springs, the Great Decisions program is run so it offers everybody who lives on this campus the opportunity to come. In other areas of, there are just what we do, except they're small groups, like 20, and they take turns doing the program themselves. But since here at Green Springs we have to make it available, we do it in this fashion.
Well, quick question real quick. Are the speakers at each program, are they residents or are they outside speakers coming in?
Outside speakers coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, back to you.
We have had some residents, but in many instances, the residents that we have here have been retired for many, many, many years and don't quite have the up-to-date information on the topics. So this is the 2019 briefing book, which
Here,
is
I'll hold it to
all
the
right.
camera.
There you go. Which is produced by the Foreign Policy Association. It contains expert articles on the 8 topics that we are going to discuss this year. It includes maps as well as historical background information. Buying a book is not a requirement, and many who buy the book don't even read the book, but that's that's up to
They
you.
don't.
Now, how much does it cost to buy the book?
Well, we've ordered all the books that we're going to order.
Okay.
And so if anybody would like to order a book, there is a telephone number that one can call, as well as go online at www.greatdecisions.org, and you can order a book. But I have put in 3 orders already this year, and I'm not ordering anymore.
So you're done ordering books.
I'm done ordering. You're on your own. Our Great Decision program meets on the first and the third Wednesdays during the months of February, March, April, and May. And although this year we are not going to begin on the first Wednesday of February, but we will start on February 20th. We are going to add an additional session at the end, which is May 22nd, to make up for the one that we're not having. The topics this year have been very challenging, and for us to find wonderful speakers has been a little bit more difficult than we anticipated. Also, the government shutdown actually affected us in some cases. So as of actually 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I got my final speaker. So it's not a matter of cutting it close to the line, but we did it. We do meet this year. We're going to meet in the Village Square Theater, and we meet from 10:30 in the morning to 12 noon. The way we run the program, we start with a DVD, which runs about a half an hour, and then the speaker will speak for another 30-40 minutes, and then we open the floor for questions and discussion. What I will say to everybody is watch Channel 6 and Channel 8 for notices of the dates and the program topics. Also the bulletin boards in each of the clubhouses, and also the Village Bridge. So, if you keep, and also I have a lot of email addresses, and I do send out reminders.
Could I insert, if you want to get information by email from Barbara, how will they contact you?
Resident directory?
Right.
Well, Resident Directory will give you a telephone number. That's a good start.
Okay. Is your email address in the directory?
No, I don't think it is.
Mine
actually.
is not either.
I don't think it is. Our first program is going to meet on Wednesday, February 20th at 10:30 in the theater. And we're going to start off the series actually with Chapter 3. So those of you who are reading the book, you can leave Chapter 1 and 2 for the minute and start with Chapter 3, which is Nuclear Negotiations, Back to the Future. And let me just see. Okay, one of our speakers this year actually is the son of a former resident who passed away, Marion Burgett, who had been on the committee for 18 years, actually, since the program began. She was one of the founders. And he volunteered to come and do a program for us. Barbara Wallers, who recently moved in, I think she's been here about a year. She has 2 sons who are in the State Department, and one of them has volunteered to speak with us. And then we search for other speakers, and we have a wonderful roster of individuals who are going to come and speak to us. And I also want to thank many of the Green Spring residents here who do email me and give me suggestions of, organizations, or tell me that, I have a friend and maybe he might have some information. One of the topics, migration, was a little bit difficult this year to try to find a speaker, and that's the one that we just did find. And I also do want to thank Gray Parks and Paulette Dam for recording our programs, because actually what it does is it gives you all an opportunity to rerun the programs during the course of the year. So if anybody has missed a program, possibly they can catch it again.
No, I have, people have asked me, I missed that. How could I see it again? But if they wanted the DVD, they could buy it here, couldn't they?
Yes, they can come here always to Channel 6. We'll charge them a small fee, and then we can make them a DVD copy. And just tell them to keep a lookout on the TV guide of when it's going to rerun, approximately about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after it has been recorded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, around that time period.
Yeah.
But things always change. But go ahead.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say, actually, in past years, when Great Decisions stopped, we used to do a kind of a bi-weekly news thing, but we don't do that anymore. So maybe in other parts of the year, you could show some of the Great Decisions things.
Yeah, we can always work around that. But I had a question before I forget, just to make sure I understand kind of the greater scheme of the Great Decisions Group. Do you do any like outings with other people who have the discussions on like different campuses or at other places, or is it just solely Green Spring discussing amongst themselves? Do you have a bunch of other people coming in besides the outside speaker? Or
Oh, no, you mean like if you have a relative or a friend who is interested in the topic?
Yeah.
No, yes, they come sometimes.
It's open. It's open to anybody who wants to come. What we have done is we've been in touch with other groups that do the Great Decisions programs, and we've asked them if they have speakers, and maybe we can, piggyback off of them. And sometimes they are successful and we're not.
Yeah.
In trying to get that person. But that's the only contact that we do have.
Well, in the effort of trying to entice more people to come to the groups and everything, can you kind of discuss why you're so, I can tell the way you talk about it and how so much information that you have, why you are so passionate about the group.
Okay, you first or me first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I worked in the occupation of Germany years ago, met my husband there, and when the contractual agreement was signed, we were diplomats and not occupiers, and so I was in the Foreign Service my whole life. And I was in countries where there were dictators that were overthrown, and I learned different cultures, and I thought, it's the part of the way I see the world. So and Barbara was on the committee for 2 years before I said, "Oh, I'm getting older. Somebody much and sharper than I had better be doing this." And so,
Well, we were on the committee for 1 year, and then Gladys asked if I would be a co-leader, and I unfortunately haven't learned to say no.
Well, they say volunteering around here is what, keeps your energy up and keeps you young.
It's like a job around here, yes.
Well, is there anything that we're running low on time? I want to make sure I know you have a lot to share, but I want to make sure you've said everything and made your case across about everything that you wanted to say. Is there anything else you wanted to?
I think we've covered. Hopefully going up shortly on the bulletin boards will be a schedule of the topics and the dates and also the chapters. We are running a little bit through the book on other than straight through the chapters. So I suggest you look at it, and if you want to read
and
the
the
chapters.
one thing that last Friday I went to one of the meetings on the changes that are going to be happening as of February 15th. We will not have the Akatink room, and so from now on there will be a lot of changes. And so I would just say everybody relax and know they're coming, and we'll handle them the best way we can.
Well, that's great to hear, and I hope you have a successful programs coming up. And in Green Spring residents, if you want to talk about what's the first one, nuclear.
It is
Something about
nuclear negotiations.
nuclear negotiations. So
Back,
if you want to,
back to the future with a question mark.
so if you want to talk about nuclear negotiations and learn more about it, come to the group. It's going to be in the Village Square Theater, not the Akatink room. Contact Barbara Kauke or Gladys Baker if you have any questions. Thank you for coming on today.